Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To get your own very copy of Qasas Al-Nabiyīn Part 1, Special Edition, which features extensive vocabulary, grammatical analysis, rhetorical elements, syntactical insights, Quranic linguistics, overview of verb patterns, diacritical mark reference tables, Hansware dictionary abbreviations, over 1000 word forms, then click in the link in the description below. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Stories of the Prophets series, Qasas Al-Nabiyīn, word to word translation. Story number 5. Man fa'ala hadha? Who did this? So inshallah, let's get started. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Man fa'ala hadha? Who did this? So we have our first sentence. ورجع الناس ودخلوا في بيت الأصنام. So what means and? رجع means returned. الناس means people. What again means and. دخلوا means they entered. So inside the verb دخلوا we have the pronoun hum, which refers back to the people. في means in. Bayt means house. And al-asnam means idols. So how would we translate this sentence? وَرَجَعَ النَّاسُ وَدَخَلُوا فِي بَيْتِ الْأَصْنَامِ. And the people returned and they entered the house of the idols. Moving on to our next sentence. وَأَرَادَ النَّاسُ أَن يَسْجُدُوا لِلْأَصْنَامِ. So what means and? Arada means wanted. And nas means people. And we will translate here as to. Yasjudu means prostrate. Li means to. So prostrate to. Because the verb yasjudu is not used with a direct object. It requires the preposition li before the object. And al-asna means idols. So how would we translate this sentence? وَأَرَادَ النَّاسُ أَن يَسْجُدُوا لِلْأَصْنَامِ. And the people wanted to prostrate to the idols. Moving on to the next part. لِأَنَّهُ يَوْمُ عِيدٍ. So لِأَنَّ means because. Who means it. Yawm means day. And Eid means festival. So let's translate this part of the sentence. لِأَنَّهُ يَوْمُ عِيدٍ. Because it is a day of celebration, i.e. festival day, day of festival. Moving on to our next sentence. وَلَكِنْ تَعَجَّبَ النَّاسُ وَدُهِشُوا. So walakin here we will translate as but. Ta'ajjaba means amazed. An-nas means people. Wa again means and duhishu, which also can be read dahishu, means they were astonished. So inside the verb duhishu we have the pronoun hum, which means they were. So how would we translate this sentence? وَلَكِنْ تَعَجَّبَ النَّاسُ وَدُهِشُوا. But the people were amazed and astonished. Moving on to our next sentence. وَتَأَسَّفَ النَّاسُ وَغَضِبُوا. So what means and? Ta'assafa means sad. An-nas means people. Wa again means and ghadibu means they became angry. Inside the verb ghadibu we have the pronoun hum, which refers back to people. So how would we translate this sentence? وَتَأَسَّفَ النَّاسُ وَغَضِبُوا. And the people were sad and became angry. Moving on to our next sentence. قالوا من فعل هذا بآلهتنا. So قالوا means they said. So we have the pronoun inside whom, which refers again back to the people. So the translation is they said. Man means who. Fa'ala means did. And hada means this. Bi we will translate here as with. Alihati, gods. And na translates as our. So how would we translate this sentence? قالوا من فعل هذا بآلهتنا. They said, who did this with our gods? Moving on to our next sentence. قالوا سمعنا فتى يذكرهم يقال له إبراهيم. قالوا, again, it means they said. سمعنا, we heard. So the word na in سمعنا means we. Fatan means young boy. يذكر we will translate as mentioning, and hum means them. يقال we will translate here as called. Lahu means he is, and Ibrahim is Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. So how do we translate this sentence? قالوا سمعنا فتى يذكرهم يقال له إبراهيم. They said, we heard a young boy mentioning them. He is called Ibrahim. Moving on to our next sentence. قالوا أأنت فعلت هذا بآلهتنا يا إبراهيم. So قالوا we will translate as they said. We will translate as did, because it's used for questioning. Anta means you, and it's come to reinforce the subject in fa'alta, which means you did. So anta is stressing the ta in fa'alta. Hada means this. B means with. Alihati means gods. And na means our. Ya will translate as O, and Ibrahim is Ibrahim alayhi salam. So how do we translate this sentence? قالوا أأنت فعلت هذا بآلهتنا يا إبراهيم. They said, did you do this to our gods, O Ibrahim? Moving on to our next sentence. قال بل فعله كبيرهم هذا فاسألوهم إن كانوا ينطقون. So قال means he said, so referring back to Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Bal means rather. Fa'alahu means did it. Kabiruhum, so kabir means biggest, and hum means of them, so biggest of them. Hada means this. Fa here will translate as so. Is'aluhum means ask them. So is'alu means ask, so it's a command, plural form, and hum means them. In means if. Kanu, they are, and yantiqun, able to speak. So how would we translate this sentence? قال بل فعله كبيرهم هذا فاسألوهم إن كانوا ينطقون. He said, rather, this, the biggest of them, did it. So ask them if they are able to speak. Moving on to our next sentence. وكان الناس يعرفون أن الأصنام حجارة. So what means and? Kana we will translate here as used to, as it is followed by a future tense verb, يعرفون, and it will change that verb into past tense continuous. An-nas means people, and يعرفون means know, so the people used to know. Anna means that, al-asnama means idols, and hijaratun means stones. So let's translate this sentence. وَكَانَ النَّاسُ يَعْرِفُونَ أَنَّ الْأَصْنَامَ حِجَارَةٌ. And the people used to know that the idols were stones. Moving on to our next sentence. وَكَانُوا يَعْرِفُونَ أَنَّ الْحِجَارَةَ لَا تَسْمَعُ وَلَا تَنْطِقُ. So what means and? Kana again we will translate as they used to, as it is followed by the فعل مضارع يعرفون, and it will change it to past tense continuous. يعرفون we will translate here as no. Anna means that. Al-hijarata means stones. La tasma'u means do not hear. Wa means and la tantiqu means do not talk. So how would you translate this sentence? وَكَانُوا يَعْرِفُونَ أَنَّ الْحِجَارَةَ لَا تَسْمَعُ وَلَا تَنْطِقُ. And they used to know that the stones do not hear and do not talk. Moving on to the next sentence. وَكَانُوا يَعْرِفُونَ أَنَّ الصَّنَمَ الْأَكْبَرَ أَيْضًا حَجَرٌ. So what means and? كَانَ they used to. يَعْرِفُونَ means know. أَنَّ means that. الصَّنَمَ means idol. And al-akbar means biggest. أيضًا means also, and حجر means stone. So how do we translate this sentence? وَكَانُوا يَعْرِفُونَ أَنَّ الصَّنَمَ الْأَكْبَرَ أَيْضًا حَجَرٌ. And they used to know that the biggest idol is also a stone. Moving on to our next part. وَأَنَّ الصَّنَمَ الْأَكْبَرَ لَا يَقْدِرُ أَنْ يَمْشِيَ وَيَتَحَرَّكَ. So what means and? Anna means that. As-sanama means idol. Al-akbar means biggest. La yaqdiru we will translate as not able to, not able, and an means to. Yamshia we will translate as walk, and what means and yataharraka means move. So how would we translate this sentence? وَأَنَّ الصَّنَمَ الْأَكْبَرَ لَا يَقْدِرُ أَنْ يَمْشِيَ وَيَتَحَرَّكَ. And that the biggest idol is not able to walk or move. Moving on to our next sentence. وَأَنَّ الصَّنَمَ الْأَكْبَرَ لَا يَقْدِرُ أَنْ يَكْسِرَ الْأَصْنَامَ. So what means and? Anna means that. As-sanama means idol. Al-akbar means biggest. La yaqdiru not able. And we will translate here as to. Yaksira break. And al-asnam means idols. So how do you translate this part of the sentence? وَأَنَّ الصَّنَمَ الْأَكْبَرَ لَا يَقْدِرُ أَنْ يَكْسِرَ الْأَصْنَامَ. And that the biggest idol is not able to break the idols. Moving on to our next sentence. فَقَالُوا لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ أَنْتَ تَعْلَمُ أَنَّ الْأَصْنَامَ لَا تَنْطِقُ. Fa means so. قَالُوا means they said. So inside the verb قَالُوا we have the pronoun hum, which is referring back to the people. Li we will translate as to, because the verb قَالُوا is used with the preposition li, not with the direct object. So Ibrahim is Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Anta means you, and it comes to stress the word you in ta'lamu. So ta'lamu means you know. Anna means that. Al-asnama means idols. And la tantiqu means do not talk. So how do you translate this sentence? فَقَالُوا لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ أَنْتَ تَعْلَمُ أَنَّ الْأَصْنَامَ لَا تَنْطِقُ. So they said to Ibrahim, you surely know that the idols do not talk. Moving on to our next sentence. قال إبراهيم فكيف تعبدون الأصنام وإنها لا تضر ولا تنفع. So قال means said. Ibrahim is Ibrahim alayhi salam. فكيف we will translate as then how. So fa means then and kayfa means how. ta'buduna means you worship, so it's addressing plural. Al-asnama means idols, and the wa here is circumstantial and is explaining the state of the idols, so we will translate the wa here as while. Inna means surely, and ha means they, so surely they. La tadurru means do not harm, and the wa means and la tanfa'u means do not benefit. So how would you translate this sentence? قال إبراهيم فكيف تعبدون الأصنام وإنها لا تضر ولا تنفع. Ibrahim alayhi salam said, then how do you worship idols while they do not harm and do not benefit? Moving on to our next sentence. وكيف تسألون الأصنام وإنها لا تنطق ولا تسمع. So what means and, كيف means how, تسألون means you ask, so in the plural form. Al-asnama means idols. Wa again here is describing the circumstance of the idols, so we'll translate as while. Inna means surely and ha means they, so surely they. La tantiqu means do not talk. Wa means and la tasma'u means do not hear. So how would we translate this sentence? وَكَيْفَ تَسْأَلُونَ الْأَصْنَامَ وَإِنَّهَا لَا تَنْطِقُ وَلَا تَسْمَعُ. And how do you ask from the idols while they do not talk and do not hear? Moving on to our next sentence. أَلَا تَفْهَمُونَ شَيْئًا أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. So means do, so it's used for questioning. La tafhamuna means you not comprehend. Shay'an means anything. Again is used for questioning, so do. Fa means then. La ta'qilun means you not understand. So how do we translate this part of the sentence? ألا تفهمون شيئا أفلا تعقلون. Do you not comprehend anything? Do you then not understand? And moving on to our final line, وَسَكَتَ النَّاسُ وَخَجِلُوا. So what means and? Sakata means remained silent. And nas means people. Wa again means and khajilu means they were embarrassed. So inside the verb khajilu, we have the pronoun which is referring back to people, and that's why we are translating as they were. Now, how would we translate this last line? وَسَكَتَ النَّاسُ وَخَجِلُوا. And the people remained silent and were embarrassed. So, Alhamdulillah, this is story number 5. Man fa'ala hadha, who did this? Word-to-word translation finished. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. To deepen your understanding of the Arabic language, explore our range of courses, including Balagha, Arabic rhetoric, covering the 3 core disciplines of Arabic rhetoric. The I'rab course, which offers a comprehensive study of diacritical markings, and the Tarkib course, focusing on sentence structure and composition, along with many other enriching programs. To learn more, click the link in the description.